Cancer, honey. Happy new moon in Virgo. We're going to be talking about how big you are and how wonderful you are and how emotional you are. And I love how big you are. And we're really going to be looking at when was the first time that someone told you that you were too much? When was the first time in your childhood that someone told you that you were taking up too much space? This new moon and these grids and these readings are always going to be for the rising sign, just based on the astrological chart. So this is a Cancer rising chart, but the whole reading can always be watched by a Cancer sun as well as a Cancer moon to receive the vibrations of it. But this new moon is happening at the very base of your chart at 21 degrees of Virgo. This is the roots of the tree of your life, cultural family roots. This is our public life up here. This is where all of our retrograde outer planets are really just demolishing the way that you think that you're being perceived in the public eye. Like, people aren't judging you and people are not seeing you in this really negative light that you're painting for yourself, but all here is making sense. And then the inner planets are right down here at the base of your chart, your internal sides. Over here, these are relationships, and your ascendant sign is where where you want to do things on your own. So this third house over here, I'd love for you to take the first part of this reading and just do a little bit of journaling for yourself. So when was the first time that you stepped outside of your communication boundaries and someone told you to get the fuck back in? The I statement that I always offer for this house is the first time I ever learned the word fuck. And I heard it in school. I didn't know what it meant, so I came home and I was standing in the kitchen. My mother was undoing my braids, I believe, or brushing my hair, and I said, "Mom, what does fuck mean?" And she literally took me as a child, spun me around, and slapped me across the face. That was the first time. I had no idea what it meant. I had no fucking clue what was going on, and I have no fucking clue why I swear on all my fucking videos nowadays. So I learned. That was the first time that I learned, be very careful about the things that you hear out in the world, and just do your research, whatever the fuck it is, whatever it is. So because this new moon is happening over here, we're looking at early learning, short trips, your immediate surroundings, communication and language, the way that you communicate in this world. Who told you you were too big and too emotional? I was having this chat with a client last night in a private session where it was, when you were a kiddo, Cancer, you're naturally an empath. It's built in. You are the mom friend. You are naturally empathetic. So when you were a child and you didn't have this skill set of verbal communication yet, and you were at a grocery store or you were at the pharmacy, you were somewhere in a public space and you started to cry because emotionally, energetically, you're picking up on things that you physically cannot comprehend just yet. And so your only means of communication was tears, maybe stemming, maybe having I don't want to be picked up, I don't want to have this physical reaction. And your parents maybe didn't have this language, or your older sibling or your babysitter at the time, your nanny, didn't have this language and didn't know that maybe you were hearing a really negative thought. There could have been someone who was, wanting to maybe kidnap you, or, was thinking about you sexually, and you knew that and it felt really gross, and you weren't given that stage till fucking leave. You weren't allowed to do that, Cancer. And this is this is gross stuff. I know that this is a new moon reading and that there will be other readers, healers, astrologers that are saying, manifest a short trip. This is what I want you to be looking at. But please go back and watch the introductory video for this new moon that we have. I do things very differently within my practice, and you can manifest a short trip, but if you're going with people that really diminish you and that treat you the same way that you did when you were a child, you're never going to find your most authentic timeline, Cancer. And then when we have the full moon that comes in Aries in a few weeks, you're going to have a really similar public reaction where you're crying and you're trying to express yourself because the way that you communicate is not yet evolved. Do you know what I mean? We can utilize these energies for good or bad, for a development or for just validation for our traumas. You can do that. You could do that. You can hire a therapist to listen to you and just say, wow, that really sucks, and never develop. I work quickly in my sessions, and that's why you're here, because you doing these little things and viewing the trauma that happens to you, capital T or little t, doesn't fucking matter. When you were a kid and you can release that and know that with the right community, your superpower of emotional empathy and intelligence is beyond what other people can learn. Like, you're miles ahead of people that just start to do this work. You're lifetimes ahead. It's not a competition, but this is a skill set that you already have. At home, at work, wherever you are. You walk into a room, Cancer, you can feel what everybody's feeling. You know if someone's off. You know if that, coworker is having a bad day. You know if somebody just get a text message that if it's about work, or you could see that their energy just changed. You can tell who has to pee. You can tell who's really just like in their own head. You can tell who's angry. You can tell. That is not something that you can effortlessly teach. So I would love for you to find some self-love within this space and really actually do some vetting as to who is in your life and why. Money will be flowing soon. Mercury will go direct the day after this new moon, so just be aware that work stuff, if it's felt stalled, it will flow again soon. There's a lot of imposter syndrome in here, Cancer. There's a lot of imposter syndrome, and a lot of you have some really incredible work to do. I'm sorry, I just want to give this to you because at first I was going to try to put together a pitch to be like, I can be the healer to help you with this, where a lot of you are recognizing through the unpacking and like taking away the onion of the imposter syndrome, you're recognizing how integral and how needed you are in this developing new world that we're going into. And you recognize that the skill sets, you're already qualified, is what I'm trying to say, Cancer. You're already ready for this changing time and the changing tide, and you don't have to have the spiritual language. You don't have to have any of this language. That's what I'm here to help you with, is to make sense of it. But you already kind of have this deep internal knowing that, yeah, we're in a really confusing time, but what's on the other side of this, I feel like I'm kind of already prepped for. Yeah. It's wild to me that like in a few years, I think it's in 2025, when Saturn and Neptune go into Aries fucking together at the tippity top of your chart, like you as well as Virgo are super duper needed in this new world and in the creation of the fifth dimensional consciousness. Because you learning to love, how do I say? So there's a video that I did a while ago on like what actually is the collective consciousness, what actually is 5D consciousness. And it's really like, definitely go back and watch that. I don't think it was a super long video, like less than an hour, definitely. But we talked about how like the collective consciousness is kind of like a cloud. And when you put things into the cloud, everybody has access to them. So you, Cancer, loving how big you are and loving and nourishing the skills that you already fucking have, gives that access to everybody to love and accept themselves the way that they are and nourish the skill sets that they already have. So you helping you actually helps the world. You communicating, I don't want to say normally, but normal for you. Like, don't ever get to the point ever again that you're like, I just need to say it. Just say it when it first comes into your head. Talk to Gemini. Watch Gemini communicate. Watch Aries communicate. Watch Aries communicate, or watch an Aries moon communicate. It's a beautiful thing. they don't even know that they're saying the thing until after they've said it, and they're like, why is everybody crying? Did I do something? I just told you who you are. It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, trust the timing and trust the placement. Like, this is internal stuff. Yeah, wait a little bit. Wait till after Mercury goes direct. You know, we could be working towards like good business deals. If some of you are looking to make some really intense professional decisions, please, my email address is always listed below, and we can book a one-on-one session. I come from corporate, and what I really love to do is help you unpack and look at, like, something doesn't feel right within this contract. I don't know what it is. It just feels wrong. Trust that, and we can just do a dialogue together. I do half-hour sessions as well as full-hour sessions, so please reach out directly, Cancer Rising, for that. Because money, definitely, like, there are some good deals that want to happen, that really want to happen. But this Pluto transit, when it goes back into Aquarius, this is a 20-year transit. So if you're making massive deals right now and it just feels a little bit like something's off, please call me, because it is off. And yeah, I don't want you attaching your name to anything that's super long term right now until you have, if it's not me, that's fine, but have a spiritual counselor of some kind, a healer, someone who reads the planets, look at your deals, look at the contracts, look at the birth chart for you, for your company, for the company that you're pairing with. Like, this is, it's one of my favorite quotes is a JP Morgan quote. Millionaires don't follow astrology, but billionaires do. So please be cognizant of what you're doing. I'm a corporate survivor. I've been training teams for over 10 years. Like, I can't go back into that world, but I can help you navigate with this skill set. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's an exciting 18 months you have, and that's going to really set the foundation for the next 20 years. I know. It's built into the astrology. I'm not being like, look out, 20 years. It's Pluto in Aquarius. It's like the age of Aquarius. We are the prophecy. It's finally happening. So it is that big, but really all you got to look at is like, who told you you're too emotional? I know, micro to the macro. Call me if you need anything.